hear that? It's the roar of the crowd, the pulse of champions, the sound of history being made. Ogun State is ready to host the biggest sporting event of the year, the 22nd National Sports Festival, Gateway Games Ogun 2024. From May 16th to 30th, 2025, the nation's finest athletes will gather at the MKO Abiola Stadium, Abeokuta, and other sports centers in Ogun State. 33 sports, 36 states, and the FCT. One goal: to rise, to compete, to win. The world is watching. This is our moment, our time to shine. The stage is set. Gateway Games Ogun 2024, a celebration of sports, unity, and culture. Host, His Excellency Governor Dapo Abiodun. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn, àjọṣe gbogbo wa ni.
1, 2, 3, 4. Just Right Superstore is now at Mile 2, Lafenwa to Rounder Road, Abeokuta. Our 4th Superstore in Abeokuta and the 31st nationwide is now open from Thursday, 22nd May 2025, as Ogun State hosts contingents from the 36 states of the Federation for the National Sports Festival, the Gateway Games 2024. Just Right is your go-to spot for premium shopping experience, quality, and great prizes. Whether you're stocking up for the games or exploring the city, we've got everything you need, fast, fresh, and affordable. Also, with the Just Right mobile app, you can order from the convenience of your home. Groceries, gadgets, fashion, and more delivered right to your doorstep. Download the Just Right mobile app now on Play Store or App Store, or visit any of our 4 Abeokuta branches at Ijeja, Obantoku, Idiaba, and Lafenwa. Just Right Superstore. When the going gets tough, the tough go shopping.
This is Eagle 7 Sports Radio, 90 minutes with mathematical. We're reaching the world from our studios in Wasimi in Ogun State, very close to Abeokuta. I have with me the man who is at the core of Gateway Games. He was there 19 years ago. He's there now. Former special advisor, former commissioner, present-day Director General of the National Sports Commission, and chairman of the main organizing committee of Gateway Games. Businessman, entrepreneur extraordinaire. The man who is dazzling us, for those of us who are in the sports business these days. High Chief, Egba High Chief, very High Chief, Dr. Bukola Olopade. Good morning. You are going to take us through an X-ray of the first 7 days of Gateway Games. But let us start this way. You are now an Abuja resident. As Director General, the number 2 man of sports in Nigeria. In fact, if we look at it in some ways, because it is your office that actually controls everything, don't let us say you are number 1. You are number 2 man in sports in Nigeria. So, yes. So, now that you're in Abuja, is the reality of what you're doing in Abuja meeting the expectations before you became the DG? Before you became DG, you had a picture of Nigerian sports and the things that needed to be done. You and I have talked about it for so many years. Now you are there. Is the reality good or better or worse than our expectations?
I think of the best brains that you could have thought of wanting to work with, not being tied down with their ways as civil servants under the then Ministry of Sports. It has made it so easy. That was my first impression. The second one has been the huge support from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR in terms of how sports is being funded from that end. When you look at files and you look at demands in the past, we are at a better place today than ever in the history of this country in terms of what we need to galvanize and reposition sports. So I must say that my expectations have been sort of distorted because I thought I was going into something that would be so tedious, something that would be so strenuous. But luckily, I've gone into something that has been very fluid, that has been very, the system has been very supportive, from the presidency to the bureaucrats, and of course, even working with federations. I'll give you a typical example. Kida, the president of basketball, my impression before I got there was that he was such a tough person to work with. He has been the sweetest, the easiest person to align with and work towards developing basketball. And you look at other sports and the federation presidents, the way they've come to the table to discuss strategic development of sports in Nigeria is a far cry from the expectations I had before getting to the place.
Well, talk is cheap. You can say anything nicely and so on, but you still have to go to the field to go and perform. So we wish you the very best in this assignment, and I hope all the federation presidents would work with you, the way you have painted. But let me give people the numbers that they should prepare to call later in the show. 0700 2255 1037. The second number is 081 2782 8497. You'll be able to join us in this conversation. We'll take one or two calls. We won't take many calls because we have a long way to go. So, second time around, managing the biggest domestic sports project in the whole of Africa. You were there in 2006. You are there now. Just help us quickly compare the two.
I know your question is a sports-related question, but I've had a lot of politically related questions.
Take them all, anyhow you like, whether the politics or the technical or the business or the whatever.
I want to thank the people of Ogun State. I want to thank the governor and the government of Ogun State, both in 2006 and the present government. In 2006, as commissioner under Governor Gbenga Daniel, and you as a member of the LOC, we were faced with actually turning around the face of the festival. We succeeded because obviously it was the first festival to declare profits. It was the first festival to have an opening ceremony that was beautiful. But when you juxtapose it to what we have today, this by far is a huge improvement to what we did in 2006. When I listened to your editorial driving down here, by the way, very beautiful, naturally touching editorial. A lot of people talk, they don't go to where the core of what they want to talk about is you. You've been everywhere. You've been to the Games Village. You've interacted with the sportsmen and women. So you have a first-hand information which you gave in the editorial. I thank you for that. And from your editorial, you did capture very clearly what the intention of these festivals, this festival this year, was all about. Creating an Olympic-style environment in terms of the hostel facility. We succeeded in doing that. I was the local organizing committee chairman, where myself and Dr. Kwekutana and the local organizing committee decided that it had to be just one place and approached Babcock. I'm glad that in the wisdom of the governor, we moved away from the multiple catering system to just that catering system within Babcock with people who had done it day in, day out for many years. And I feel that is also working. I went there last week, Saturday, and I had dinner with the athletes. It was good food. It wasn't too spicy. I like spice, but it wasn't too spicy because the explanation was that you don't want to give sportsmen and women too much pepper. But it was good. The environment was very clean. And we succeeded in doing that. When you compare that to 2006, we had 18 hostels.
Wow.
Scattered. You are a member of the LOC.
I didn't know that it was up to 18.
It was 18.
Anyway, we had different venues also. We were in Laro, we were in Shagamu, we were in
and that made logistics
and all that.
When you compare it to this, that made logistics extremely difficult. though a successful games, but when you compare it to this, it has been seamless, little hiccups here and there, transporting athletes from Babcock to across the road.
That's interesting. Yes, how that works, you will tell us later.
It's been very fluid. Then you look at the centers, the facilities put in place by Governor Dapo Abiodun, for me, are gobsmacking. It is the first time, Big Sheikh, that Ogun State, as a state, is owning our own swimming pool and tennis court. I know you're a tennis player. Before, we would have borrowed the tennis court at the Abeokuta Sports Club. Not anymore. Bulus is playing today at 11:30 for Ogun State against Daniel of Bayelsa. I'm rushing out of this place to watch that.
Me too, I'm going to watch that.
Right. In a very convenient, very beautifully put together facility. And you go to our popular Alake Sports Center in Ijeja. It's been completely transformed into a world-class environment. Although I heard yesterday somebody said he spoke with the governor that there's need to make it indoor. I agree totally. That's the future. Putting a cover around all the facilities there to make it indoor basketball, indoor volleyball, which is the way sports is being organized globally today. But suffice to say that when you compare it again to 2006, it is a huge improvement from what we had in 2006. And I'm proud to say that, because those who feel in a very parochial manner that, oh, one is better than the other, are not looking at the fact that we are Ogun State indigenous. We are not static. We are very developmental. We are very progressional in our attitude. And to think that someone will say the one in 2006 was better than the one after 19 years will be ludicrous. So as far as I'm concerned, what we are having today is by far better than 2006. And I'm proud to say that, because it simply means we are growing.
Absolutely. Even as I'm asking you questions, I'm thinking of adding my own, So we are just having a conversation. But you see, what I find about these games, these ones, different from 2006, is that this is a little organic. It is not as if, there is one great control. It is a reflection of the people of Ogun State.
Absolutely.
That when you go, I went into Babcock. It wasn't as if it was overpowering with security operatives and, you think everything, somebody is managing everything. It was naturally evolving.
You're correct.
So that, security men are not disturbing you. There's no control here. Everybody is behaving. It's like everybody is naturally just behaving. And that's what happened last night when I again visited the sports city. And one lady from Lagos, she said that if you look around, you won't find who is controlling anything here. It's like nobody is controlling anything. It is
organic.
It is the people. The people are just behaving well, behaving correctly, and so on and so forth. And I was just wondering in my head that, well, so far, so good. But with the avalanche of humanity, the traffic that is now going to the centers, maybe we needed to take a little more control so that we just don't leave it organically the way it has been. It has been perfect. Even the opening ceremony.
World class.
World class. But it was not as if we had a conductor who was saying, do this, do this, do this, do this. People just behaved.
But we did have a conductor behind us.
I know, of course.
Governor Dapo Abiodun, you saw every time I went upstairs and came downstairs.
No, I know, of course, there was control.
Right, and you noticed I was going everywhere.
But look at the crowd on the field. The security people didn't even tell people where to go. People were behaving. More people behaving.
Also, you were a conductor on the day. Because you drew my attention to the fact that when Afrobeat was controlling the march past, it was beautiful. And he went to the military and you said to me, you need to go back and get the Afrobeat on board. And I did exactly that. And I want to thank you for that quick intervention. Because when you go back and watch the videos, you see that there was some sort of boredom in that middle aspect. I mean, not criticizing the military band, but the moment we reverted back to the Afrobeat, there was fun, there was excitement, there was joy. And I want to thank you for that.
DG, we set history.
We did.
You see what we did on that day?
We did.
Unprecedented in the history of sports in the world.
Absolutely.
For us to have taken our culture and put it in a march past and let our people dance and celebrate. I give you kudos. Because you heard it and we did it.
We did.
Fantastic.
We did.
Now, you have introduced something else. You have brought something else into the National Sports Festival. Let's discuss it. And
do you like it or not?
No, wait. I've not asked you what it is.
I know what it is.
Okay, go ahead. It's your junior
Ija.
team, Ija. It's a new dimension, it's a new thing. So let our listeners around the world, wherever they are, let them hear this concept of Ija and how it is impacting and how it will impact, the games and the future. Let's hear it properly.
Before I answer that, let me just quickly react to your admonition on not relying too much on the organic luck that we're having. The truth of the matter is, it appears organic, but credit must be given to the Commissioner of Police and his team.
Okay.
And the DSS, a whole lot of covert work.
Okay.
I saw a few videos from the drones every day.
Okay.
Every day.
We don't see. That's fantastic.
Right.
That's
so
fantastic.
There are a lot of organic covert work going around the centers. Like, for example, whenever we went to the boxing in BBHS, my alma mater, I fret. Because I go there and I see all the good boys in Ogun State. They're watching.
I understand, yes.
And I'll be like, what is going on here? Where's security? And whenever I took the phone to complain, they'll say, talk to someone, talk to this, talk to that. And you'll be shocked. Even the army have their covert people in the hall pretending to be fans. The police, the DSS, the civil defense, covert. And I think they listened to one of my interviews where I said, I do not like seeing guns of yours at Sporting Center. And I did say that, I think about 4 or 5 weeks ago. And they got that. So, work is going on, but I agree with you. The crowd is getting larger. Last night, we couldn't complete basketball between Ogun and Delta at the Alake Sporting Center in Ikeja. Over 3,000 people converged there. So when I leave here, after Bulus, the match is 1 o'clock. I'm going there to see to security alongside the former AIG, who is in charge of security, to ensure that game is completed and other games are taken. But to your question on IJA, IJA as an acronym simply means Invited Junior Athletes. So when I became DG, I sat down with Malam Sheudiko, the chairman, and I said, look, my first meeting with the grassroots department, I asked, what has happened to the pool of talent discovered from the youth games? And I wasn't too pleased with the answers I got. And I said, can I see the data of all the champions that have emerged from the youth games in the last 5 years? And they gave me the data. It took me 2 weeks to come through it. And I noticed that there was no growth from
discovery
to nurturing to elite. No growth. Maybe about 4 or 5. You can talk about Sarah. You can talk about Clinton, the streamer. But what has Clinton done on the African global scene? If we are saying we want to build them into podium athletes, nothing. Sarah, great stuff. She's number 3 in the world. And I said, no, we cannot continue to have the youth games and not create platforms to elevate the standard of these young champions. So one of my special assistants said to me, why can't we just create like the Olympic body has created for the what do you call them now? Refugees to be part of to be part of the Olympics, and said that we can make them the 38th state. And I said, what would we call them? And she said, Invited Junior Athletes. And I said, thank you very much. And so we went into it. What we actually did was to invite first, second from the last youth games into a camp, and they started competing based on present day form. So you discovered also that most of them came second at the last youth games, but had become better
by now
than the champions. So we dropped the champions and brought the second position. A typical example is Timmy, the streamer that is
creating sensation.
That's won 3 silver medals and 1 bronze medal for Ija. And I just feel gratified because I feel the best way to tie grassroots development to elite and podium development is through this strategy. But you know what? In all of this, somebody joked yesterday at the athletics venue and said, Bukola, we have over 130 diasporan athletes representing states at these games.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
In fact, I've asked Lekon of my grassroots department to go through the entire list of 10,000 registered athletes. I need to know the correct number because I believe it's bigger than that. Because in swimming alone, over 50 diasporans from the Far East, from Europe, from other African countries, representing their states. Look at volleyball. The entire Plateau team, almost from diaspora. Delta, even Ogun. And you start counting. Athletics, the same. And you start counting. And the person said, why don't we also have invited diaspora athletes Ida for next year in Enugu? And I thought, that is an amazing introduction that can really bring back a lot of our children who have not had the opportunity to thrive in their various domains where their parents are. And this platform can make them national heroes and podium athletes.
Look, I can't even add to that because just the thought of it, reminds me of when, okay, let me give you, if we had brought in Toby Amusha for the games now, this is me just thinking, we brought in Toby Amusha as one of the invited diasporans. First of all, this stadium will not take people.
Absolutely.
You understand? And secondly, internationally, it would elevate the National Sports Festival.
Thank you, sir.
And thirdly, it will do what happened in 1975. Second National Sports Festival, where the bulk of winners of 1975, some from 1973, were those that represented Nigeria at the Olympics in 1976. And most of them were 19, 20. Do you understand? They were young.
Correct age.
Young people.
Correct age.
I was discussing with Bruce Ijirigo yesterday. And he told me that yesterday they were at the state box and they were looking around to see all the big people, athletics people around. And suddenly they realized that Bruce and Godwin were the two oldest. Okay, there were only 2 people older than them in that state box from the history of athletics in Nigeria. Only 2. And that he just thought about it. He was at the 1972 Olympics.
I even thought the 2 of them were the oldest. I was there.
He was at the 72 Olympics.
Yusuf Ali is younger than they.
Oh yes, by far.
Yusuf and Chief Abasogi. Yesterday,
yes.
I thought they were the oldest inside the.
No, Bruce is there. Amelia Edet is there, and so on.
Okay. Oh yes.
But you see, these guys were 18, 19
in 74.
In 72. The Bruce. They were in secondary school. They just left secondary school, but yet they came in 1976. Everybody knew them for the 75 festival. Everybody knew them, and they brought the crowds. They elevated the standard of the games, and so on and so forth. But I don't know where we are going. But you have just introduced something interesting. This is very interesting.
Thank you.
And I think you should continue to explore it and see the possibilities.
We will. I believe strongly that it will give more value to the games, and I'm trying
even marketing. You see your marketing skills,
right? For example,
this man
boxing, sir. Do you know 7 of the boxers came from England and America? Kaduna brought Patricia. Patricia is a lifestyle popular boxer in the UK. Her followership is crazy. She's fighting today. I'm planning to go and watch her. It doesn't mean she's going to...
I wish we knew all of this to put out there in the public and so on beforehand. Okay, but go on.
I agree. And I'm excited to know what we can do with the National Sports Festival and other locally organized events for this country. Big Sheikh, I am optimistic that with the introduction of the early development and podium board under the leadership of Yusuf Ali as the CEO, that somewhere along the line, with all the support we're getting from the presidency and state governors are buying and keen into sport development more than ever before, I'm excited about the future. When we suggested that states must start to apply or bid for the festival ahead of time now, for 2028 and 2030, we have more than 10 states that have bidded.
Wow.
10 states. And that means the National Sports Festival is growing in quantum leap in terms of value and the marketability of it. I want to thank Governor Dakwa Abiodun for what he has done with this festival. When I said to him as LOC chairman that you have to be the chief marketer of the games, he laughed. But by the time I left to go and be DG, I think the pressure got to him. He became the chief marketer.
Using his influence. And
and his connect and even his own skill of marketing, and a lot of money started pouring in. The value of the National Sports Festival has been elevated today, and the future is just so bright.
This is 90 Minutes with Mathematical. We are x-raying the Gateway Games. My guest is businessman extraordinaire, the DG of the National Sports Commission, and the chairman, I hope you're still chairman of the main organizing committee of the games. Chief, I like to add High Chief. High Chief.
And Doctor.
And Doctor, yes. And it's all true. And Doctor Bukola Olopade is here with me. One thing that people, our local people in Ogun State, I must tell you, I got a letter from the US yesterday, from Houston, and they wanted me to ask you to find out this. This is political.
Okay.
They said, we developed facilities in 2006. First-class facilities, some facilities. We expanded sports to Ilaro, Shagamu, and so on and so forth. And then they sent a picture of the Dikbo Dino Stadium today. They sent the picture. And when I saw the picture yesterday, I wept. Just your thoughts. Why? What happened? Why would we, now we have fantastic facilities around, but we had good facilities that have now gone to waste. This is our maintenance culture thing and so on. Look at that issue and let's help project into the future. What should we be doing?
Well, I believe, again, without putting blames anywhere, I believe festivals of this nature tend to improve facilities. But I know authoritatively that the Ogun State government cannot be blamed for not spreading the sports to Ilaro, Ijebu.
What of fixing?
I'm coming to that.
Yeah, okay.
I'm coming to that. I was the one that bidded on behalf of Ogun State. I did the bid document. I did the presentation to Abuja, and we won the bid. The first condition, and I know now as DG of National Sports Festival that is a condition that is cast in stone. Is that your Ulster facility cannot be more than 50 kilometers or 50 minutes, away from your main centers. And so when we thought about two cities in Ogun State that are not too far, knowing that Abeokuta was going to be the main center, we thought about Remo, we thought about Honorable Kuleshon Ahmed's facility, which is world class. We thought about the Shagamu Stadium and the NYC camp. We thought about, before we now eventually got Babcock in our thinking. And with that, Ijebu and Ilaro were kind of ostracized from the games. I know the governor is determined to refurbish, and he mentioned it yesterday in the meeting I was told he had with stakeholders of the Team Ogun, to refurbish and repair Ijebu and also improve on the Ilaro Stadium. It has taken these games for critics to come up with it, and they are right. They are right to say, why would we leave this stadium like this? So I'm consumed with emotions, because don't forget, those facilities were built under me as Commissioner for Youth and Sports. I have emotional attachment. I remember when I took the Under-17 World Cup to Ijebu-Ode, the Alake of Igbalan said to me, why not Abeokuta? I said, Kabisi, I'm Commissioner for Sport for
Ogun State.
Not. But the following month or so, I brought Wafu Cup to Abeokuta and all peace.
You are a politician now.
But I believe this is opportunity now for the Ogun State government to look at Ijebu-Ode and give it a total overhauling. And also, not just to refurbish it, but for events to continue to happen in that stadium, because utilization of facilities and maintenance is the key to maintenance of facilities. If you do not create a hub where young children, budding talents, where established elite athletes can come and continue to do their thing, that facility will go to waste. And at a time where the NSC is determined to have more facilities approved by international bodies, from World Athletics to FIFA to even the velodrome that we have in Abuja. And you saw what your friend and brother, the CG of Customs, a man that I've come to respect so much for his contribution, not just to the pecuniary aspect of sport, but even to infrastructure. What he did with the indoor facility at the MKO International Stadium in Abuja, where the volleyball tournament that you and I enjoyed took place. A complete revamping of that facility was done by the CG of Customs, and I must mention this and thank him and appreciate him. I believe it is high time the government went to both Ijebu-Ode and Ilaro to just, I know money is scarce, but it can be done. It needs to be done right now, because again, it's a facility that has become a legacy facility.
Well, I would just add a word to that, we all know Governor Abiodun. I have a feeling that he's born again. I have a feeling that, before now, yes, he liked sports and all that, but he did not have a full appreciation of the power of sport to impact society the way he now sees it, and he sees it better. And of course, complaints like this would now draw his attention.
Absolutely.
And it is likely that he would do some of those things that...
I'm sure he will.
Okay, so let's celebrate. Let's celebrate. You are part of those that arranged that one of the biggest artists in Nigeria, not in Nigeria, even in the world now, a Nigerian, Davido, should come and open for us at the opening ceremony. So let me entertain you with Davido's music whilst we go on a short break, so that by the time we come back, we can continue with our conversation.
Hear that? It's the roar of the crowd, the pulse of champions, the sound of history being made. Ogun State is ready to host the biggest sporting event of the year, the 22nd National Sports Festival, Gateway Games Ogun 2024. From May 16th to 30th, 2025, the nation's finest athletes will gather at the MKO Abiola Stadium, Abeokuta, and other sports centers in Ogun State. 33 sports, 36 states, and the FCT. One goal: to rise, to compete, to win. The world is watching. This is our moment, our time to shine. The stage is set. Gateway Games Ogun 2024, a celebration of sports, unity, and culture. Host, His Excellency Governor Dapo Abiodun. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn, àjọṣe gbogbo wa ni.
1, 2, 3, 4. Just Right Superstore is now at Mile 2, Lafenwa to Rounder Road, Abeokuta. Our 4th Superstore in Abeokuta and the 31st nationwide is now open from Thursday, 22nd May 2025, as Ogun State hosts contingents from the 36 states of the Federation for the National Sports Festival, the Gateway Games 2024. Just Right is your go-to spot for premium shopping experience, quality, and great prizes. Whether you're stocking up for the games or exploring the city, we've got everything you need, fast, fresh, and affordable. Also, with the Just Right mobile app, you can order from the convenience of your home. Groceries, gadgets, fashion, and more delivered right to your doorstep. Download the Just Right mobile app now on Play Store or App Store, or visit any of our 4 Abeokuta branches at Ijeja, Obantoku, Idiaba, and Lafenwa. Just Right Superstore. When the going gets tough, the tough go shopping.
Welcome back. Eagle 7 Sports Radio. Chief Bukola, Olopade. Something about you that I've always known. But let me just announce that you can join us now. Call us on those numbers. You can be part of the conversation from now onwards. We'll take 1 or 2 calls because I still have so many things to discuss with my guest. 0700-2255-1037. You can call us now. One thing I've always known about you personally, one, your confidence is too much. 2, your courage is too much. You are confident, you are courageous. Tell us about that moment when you went on the podium before the whole world. You had a moment that would remain forever, documented forever. And for the first time, opening ceremony of a games, you spoke extempore. You didn't read the script. Why? What was going through your mind? What was the whole motivation? And it's like you are on another planet. But there's a call.
Okay.
Hello, good morning. Hello? Okay. Go on. I won't interrupt you again.
A lot of people have asked me that question. You spoke about the games being organic. And for me, it was a day of a lot of emotions. It was a day of so many experiences just rushing down through my vein. I'd been in the VVIP at saying 1 or 2 things that were very emotional also. And it was a day that I got the news that the IJA experiment had worked, as the first news of the first medals came in just before I went on stage. And I just thought, I'm part and parcel of this. I've been part and parcel of this for the last 20 years. And when I say this, the National Sports Festival, from 19 years ago when I was commissioner to now that I'm DG, I had consulted for every state that hosted or won the festival, meaning Delta. And I just felt, just go and talk and be yourself. And it came out well. To God be the glory.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, who are you and where are you calling from? Hello?
Reverend Shoyemi.
Chief Shoyemi, good morning.
Good morning.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from.
You're calling from where? Well, that's gone.
The other thing also is that historically I don't like reading from prepared scripts or speeches, so I just like to go and talk.
But this is opening ceremony. It's like going to the Olympic Games and just speaking from the heart. No, but that was a moment for you in your life. That was a moment for you.
Thank you, sir.
And it would be interesting for us to just, okay, go back. I'm interested. This is for me now. And I want people to follow us. Your journey in sports. From where it started to now. I'm not saying tell us the story. I'm just saying you have risen to the apex of Nigerian sports.
Thank you, sir.
And from nowhere, maybe I'm wrong, from nowhere, but tell us that trajectory. Was it a dream or is it just coincidental or, what is it? What's the driving force?
I'd always been a sport enthusiast and I played a bit of it. and
You did. They called you Ozogula. That's why they called you Ozogula. That was going to be my last question.
But I played like you. You were
on the right flank.
Yes, on the right flank.
You will tell us about it. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you this morning?
Good morning.
I'm fine, sir. Good morning to the chief in the house, sir.
Good morning, sir.
This is Coach Olutoye calling, sir.
Okay. Chief Olutoye.
Yeah, good morning. Yes, sir.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling for Itori, sir.
From Itori. Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Firstly, I want to appreciate our chief in the house, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
It's a privilege to know you, and it's a privilege to hear more about you, and really you are fulfilling it. The first day you were chosen as the DG of the sport in Nigeria, I felt like we have seen the right people in the right road, and you have been doing that. I pray God continue to help you.
Amen.
But quickly, sir, I want you to work with the Commissioner of Sport in Ogun State. In your little way, I know you cannot dictate to him, so that we will maintain. When I saw the stadium and I saw other facilities that are there, what I was bothered about was how to maintain this facility. Now, how are we going to manage it in a way that it won't be an abandoned facility? I've been to almost all the stadiums in Ogun State, and if not that the gateway was rehabilitated or renovated, I don't think there's any stadium in Ogun State that the coverage is 100% in condition. And that by the side, and also some of the talents that we are not through this program in Nigeria and in Ogun State, the maintenance, how do we maintain the fact that coaches do not go and bring extra ones and divide the students? I love the introduction of the young ones, and I saw them as well. So how are we going to do it that we will not, coaches that are in charge will not, when it is time for these children to manifest, coaches will not discourage them. So I just want to put it to you, from the state to the national team, what we want you to do is to please monitor the growth of each of these athletes so that they will not be discouraged. I want to say this once again.
Very, very good point. The management of the transition.
Yeah, I mean, let me first of all answer your question before going to that. So, I'd always been a sport enthusiast. Played football.
Number 7. What are you saying? Local number 7.
Very local.
No, but you did well. You did well.
Thank you, sir.
And they nicknamed you Ozogula, Zion Tree.
My head, yes. But that was that. But when I went into politics, and I couldn't make it to Abuja as member of House of Rep, Otumagbe Daniel had called me to say, look, you're young, we have issues with youth restiveness, and we need you to come and work on it. But we've also gone through your CV. You've traveled all over the world to watch sports, so you love sports. I said, sport is my life. And they said, we'll put it as a double appointment, youth and sports. And I said, okay, why not? And from there, the trajectory moved me to becoming the Commissioner for Youth and Sports, where I got all the encouragement and support from the government and the government. But by the time I was exiting, I remember Biodun Alabi called me up with Akim and Wole Otayemi.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. I was hoping it would be Biodun Alabi. Yes, who is this?
My name is Charlie Charles, sir.
Your name is Charles?
Yeah, exactly, sir. Calling from Abeokuta.
Okay, from Abeokuta. Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. So it's been very interesting listening to your program, not only today, but even before now. I must say that your studio is actually doing great, sir. And you in particular, you are doing great in terms of grassroots sport development. My appreciation also to the great in the house. He has a sense of humor, and it's also a big apostle of grassroots sport development. Welcome, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Have a blessed day.
And so quickly, the experience as commissioner was extremely successful in terms of podium, in terms of creating wealth for a lot of young people. As commissioner, I was able to put a lot of, almost 1,000 people into the civil service. I see a lot of them today.
Really?
Yes, because one of the deals I signed on behalf of athletes was that win a medal, any medal, get
A job.
and the government, Governor Dakwabe, follow through. Governor Benga Daniel follow through with it, and we employed 1,000 people at a first start in 2006. A lot of them today have become directors, secretaries, coaches, and so when I look at the sideline of most of the games, I just laugh and feel very grateful to God that I was used as a tool. But Biodun Alabi asked me a very significant question on the final day of the WAFU Cup in 2011. He said, the curtain is coming down. What next? And I said to him, Chief Odegbami, Rotimi Pedro, Pamodzi have spearheaded sports business. And I said, I want to take it to the next level. I want to go into sports business, but I need to go and study the science behind making money with sports. He suggested talking to you. I said, no, I've studied Chief Odegbami and his sponsorship strategy. I've studied Ejiro Nomode and Michel Obi. They actually did the marketing for the WAFU Cup. They studied Pat Modzi with the Under-17 World Cup. And I said, you know what? I know what I need to do. It's for me to go back to school. So in 2011, September, I went back to university to study a master's program in sports management. I went to Nelson Mandela Metropolitan University, where I met John Ostofzen, who has become a huge mentor for so many years. And that was where, in writing my thesis, I saw how road running had become a huge business and a phenomenon. And I said, yes, way to go. And that kept me into the business of sports and just kept me there. And we kept on growing. I was started deploying your strategies, but Moses strategies.
I didn't have any strategy.
You did. The Shell Cup was a huge, continuous success. And I started thinking about everything you used to say. How your number one thing was always that Nigeria had capacity to do anything. Your vision 2030 or 2020 still in mind. In fact, your vision 2030 has led to Shehu and I insisting that Nigeria can host the next Commonwealth Games. Is something we should still talk about. And we are bidding to host. Once we get the full support from the federal government, we believe our bid, and someone like you will be working on us on that bid for us to get Nigeria to host the Commonwealth Games. And from there, yes, it became what it is today. No regret. I believe sport is the most powerful tool to create wealth. I was watching a documentary early this morning where somebody said, what is wealth? That wealth has 7 different angles to it.
Yeah.
And one of them was the wealth of legacy. If you do not have legacy, look, I came into your studio. The first time I rushed to the toilet, it was beautiful. It was organic, it was breezy. I didn't want to leave the toilet if I didn't have this program.
Stop joking now. This is in the rural environment of
But it is legacy. You are a very rich man. It doesn't have to be in terms of naira and kobo. But look at the comfort. Look how relaxed you are doing this interview. So sports can bring wealth in all forms, in all shapes. And I've seen that, and there's no going back. To answer the question raised by Coach, I agree with you totally. We need, and I'm sure Wasiu Isiaka, the Commissioner for Sports, and all stakeholders in Ogun State are on this. We need to create a hub of not just international events, but local events. We need also to monetize the utilization of these facilities. For example, I know how much money goes into private swimming pools in Abeokuta. Hotels are charging a lot of money. Make the swimming pool in Abiola, MK Abiola Sports Arena, the best swimming pool to go to. Allow people to have their their pool parties and pay for it. Allow them to come there and swim and train themselves and train their body and let them pay for it. It cannot be freebies. But of course, allow the naturally talented Ogun State athletes to use it for free and on a regular. And with that, you discover that the revenue that comes in will go towards maintaining it. With regards to Ija, there's no going back. We'll continue to work on how to ensure that in 2028 we are on the podium at the Olympics.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Reverend Mike Shuyemi.
Oh, Reverend, you're back. Reverend Shuyemi is back.
I'm back, yes. Like I used to let you know, the first volleyball coach in Ogun State.
Yes, I remember you now. First volleyball coach in Ogun State.
Oh, yes.
You may even know him.
Amazing.
I am in a happy mood because of the standard of my boys. So far, so good in the competition.
Okay.
And
your boys are doing well.
And
yes,
your girls too.
Yesterday, 3-0.
Your girls are also doing well. You and I met.
Yes.
You and I met at the court 2 days ago when your girls took out Kaduna.
Yes. The women also perform very well.
Very good, very good.
Let me seize this opportunity to greet our great TG, Director General.
Thank you, sir.
Honorable Olopade, you are welcome.
Thank you, sir.
I really appreciate what you did. You know, you perfected it more than that of what you did in 2006. You know, I also participated too. The issue at hand, many people keep on asking, with this fantastic sport, arena, sport facilities, after the festival, what next? You understand me? But some of us that are we are still alive, at least to give out some suggestions. For instance, I will want the commissioner in charge of sports to work on various associations, so that they will make their game, function. So that the arena, the facilities, will not be out of use. Look at, I think you are also familiar with our Papa, in his life. They made National Stadium to be easy for all of us. That was where we all, grow and become a great sportsmen and women. So far, so good. With the position of things now, I want to thank God that still makes people like this to be around. And thank God for the establishment of Eagle Sports on a sport radio. Chief Odegbami, we will never be tired.
Amen. Thank you.
Because your studio will also, adds to the glamour. How all the arenas, will be functioning. In fact, you have those young men that are, anchoring the sports program, Ronaldo and Baba.
Maximum goal poacher. The man who cannot score goals but with his mouth.
I've decided not to be listening to any other news because 90% of other news are bad news. Yes, if you want to live longer and healthy life, you will listen to
Eagle 7 Sports Radio.
I am telling you, it's not a
joke. Like that. Well, the DG has been applauding you. The DG has been applauding your contribution. Let him speak to it. The DG has been applauding your contribution silently. Reverend Shoyemi, thank you, DG. So just react to your friend. That man is your PR manager.
Reverend Shoyemi was amazing to me when I was commissioner. One of those who were very truthful to me, told me what we needed to do at the time, alongside Baba Basketball.
Alabi?
Yes, Baba Alabi. And Adelawa. And people like Onotulu and Samsi Oyeledu. I pinch myself all the time
You had all of us in
Yes,
your fingers.
you-
See this man.
you-
You were just.
Vanilla to Bukola. And there were days I used to pinch myself that all my superheroes I used to watch on TV were the people I was working with. Like I always say, when my story is to be written, it can only be written by a huge Hollywood scriptwriter.
Oh boy! So
But Baba, I thank you very much for your contribution. Again, you have spoken very well about what we need to do to maintain facilities. The associations must be energized so that they can continue to have local competitions in those facilities. Of course, as DG, I know that some of these facilities are the best in the country. We'll see how we can push more national competitions with regards to federation sports to Ogun State. But for me, what would be the biggest achievement, since we're talking about legacies, is that the young boys and girls of Ogun State are allowed, whenever they choose to, use these facilities, as long as they are the talented ones. If there are those who want to do it for recreation, let them pay for it, because these facilities must raise revenue. But for those who are naturally endowed and talented, we have a great opportunity to improve their sports. Take Ija, for example. The captain, the male captain for Ija, is a badminton player who today is playing in the semi-finals. I hope I will be able to make it to watch that match. Who grew up, cut his teeth, has done everything in his life in Ijeja, right there in the Alaki Sports Center. That he said, I drink and live Ijeja. And look at him today. He's the national champion in his cadre. He's the captain of the invited junior athletes. He's about to play a semi-final match that would eventually give him, at the worst, a bronze medal. And my challenge to Ija has always been, come back with a bronze medal and you are elevated to the elite cadre.
Wow.
Automatically, yes.
Wow.
So,
Fantastic.
we need to be intentional.
We are reaching you from Wasimi, this serene, beautiful rural environment. Our roads are not so good. We don't have this, we don't have that. But we are enjoying it, we are enjoying it. Eagle 7 Sports Radio. Well, we have started gradually getting to the end of this show. So I want you to just think of how you are going to round off this show for us in summing up your experiences. And then he asked, what next? So what next, really? What next as a whole, as a package? We are entering the second half of the Gateway Games. What are the expectations now for the second half? Invite all our people to either stay at home or to come.
Please come. We need to fill up the MKO Abiola Sports Arena for athletics. Yesterday was a very appreciable crowd, maybe about 5,000. We need more people to come in. Come and enjoy some of the rare talents, both in special sports, in deaf athletics, in able sports. Just come and enjoy yourselves. The atmosphere is electrifying. Of course, as we approach the medal struggling period, which is the second half, I want to appeal to sportsmen and women, coaches, administrators, to please be patient.
Let's be fair. They should be fair.
Officiating has been fair so far. I appeal to organizers and federations to keep that going. I want to especially thank Rita, the Secretary of Taekwondo, who introduced real-time electronic scoring and challenges. Where every medal was honestly won. Taekwondo finished yesterday, but I'm extremely proud of Tayo Bukola, who is acting as the president there, and the Secretary Rita, who introduced science and AI and technology to what they did, and it was a huge success. I believe every secretary must emulate what they've done, and every president must emulate what they've done. I am very, very grateful to all the people who have superintended over the sports for the fairness, the equitable approach. Even in protest, I was told that even Ogun State has suffered the brunt of very equitable decisions. For example, Ogun State came with 13 athletes to be registered when registration had ended, and the officials said no. And when Ogun State called on me, I went back and gave the officials bonuses for doing the right thing, because the fact that I'm from Ogun State did not mean they needed to do something to make me happy. They needed to do things that are equitable, and that's what we've seen across board, and I'm extremely grateful. But what next? I want to thank President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, who under his renewed hope agenda has allowed the Sports Commission under the leadership of Malan Shehu Diko and myself to build a strategy called RINS, Renewed Hope Initiative in Sports Economy, for us to be able to create wealth. I spoke about wealth earlier, not just being in Naira and Kobo. It's also in how we look after our body, how we look after our legacies, how we look after so many things.
Even our environment. And the president has been intentional in encouraging us. We have access to the presidency. We can call on the chief of staff, the SGF, at any time. And we have an inside man, former Minister Sunday Dare, who has been amazingly helpful to the things we do. I want to thank the Minister for Finance for the support he's giving to us. All put together, we believe that with all the encouragement we've been getting, I want to thank Chief Segun Odegbami and a lot of his colleagues who are doing so much in projecting sports in the positive way it should be projected. People have stopped demarketing sports in the last 7 months, and I feel strongly the next step for the Commission is to go all out and see how we can bring in more funding from the private sector and see how we can empower more young people to become sports champions and become breadwinners in their families, and their minds to be at the right places rather than at the negative places that young people tend to go to when they are not preoccupied with things like sports. Chief, High Chief, Doctor, Businessman Extraordinaire. You should have more titles. The Director General of the National Sports Commission, our Chairman of the main organizing committee of a Gateway Games we are all proud of.
Thank you, sir.
It's halftime there, and we want to wish you and the rest of your team the very best as we go into the next 7 years of what has been so far one of the best national sports festivals ever. We pray that the second half would even be better.
Amen.
Thank you very much for coming on the show this morning.
Thank you very much.
I wish you a fantastic stay for the rest of the week. And if you are listening to us, don't fail to come to the stadium to be part of that new world we are creating around sports in Ogun State through sports. The governor has set out on a mission to develop a sports ecosystem, to make sports profitable, to make sports carry out its greatest influences through its power to change society, to change the environment, to make our young people engaged and empowered and, you know, have jobs and so on and so forth. The vision is just so tremendous. I am excited. Please join all of us at the MKO Abiola Arena and other venues as we go into the second half of Gateway Games. Thank you once again. Join us again next week, Saturday, when we come your way with 90 Minutes with Mathematical. And until then, bye for now.
Hear that? It's the roar of the crowd, the pulse of champions, the sound of history being made. Ogun State is ready to host the biggest sporting event of the year, the 22nd National Sports Festival, Gateway Games Ogun 2024. From May 16th to 30th, 2025, the nation's finest athletes will gather at the MKO Abiola Stadium at Belkuta and other sports centers in Ogun State. 33 sports, 36 states, and the FCT. One goal: to rise, to compete, to win. The world is watching. This is our moment, our time to shine. The stage is set. Gateway Games Ogun 2024, a celebration of sports, unity, and culture. Host, His Excellency Governor Dapo Abiodun. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn, àjọṣe gbogbo wa ni.